What's up, guys? Today I'm going to talk about Jannik Sinner and Tommy Paul, that match that happened last night. Really cool, really exciting to watch and see how a all-court aggressive, net rusher goes against one of the biggest, cleanest hitters in the game right now of Jannik Sinner. And, he does hit that ball really crisp, like, reminiscent of Andre Agassi. And people are giving a hard time Tommy after that match, and I think he played a phenomenal match. If you look at these two stat lines here for the first and second set, if you just look at the stats and you haven't watched the match at all, you'd be actually surprised that it went to tiebreakers, right? That it was 6-6 and it was 7, and it ended up being 7-6 Jannik in both sets. Because really, Jannik, if you look at those stat lines, outplayed him. And tennis is about playing the biggest points, and he was right in there. I think he was actually up in the second set tiebreak, and he just couldn't close it and get a couple of points to go his way. So, and then I'm going to talk about the third set in a second, but it just shows you that net game attacking, it could be very much alive. It was kind of reminded me of Pacquiao and Federer. That's the most modern style of serve and volley you've seen, with the modern game and that firepower, and it works. And so the only issue that Tommy had is, there's a lot of comments and during that match, and one of which is people are saying that Tommy was being too aggressive, and if off the return it was making too many errors. But if he wasn't aggressive enough, then Jannik had easily that 1-2 punch. It's hard, it's easy to say what they should do. It's different when you're actually in those shoes. So anything that sort of sat there, Jannik was in control, and then Tommy couldn't get to the net. And so Tommy had to get on top of those rallies, because as you saw it with the stats anyways, Jannik's the better player from the back of the court. And if you're the better player from the back of the court, that means you need to dominate your service games by that placement and getting in with the 1-2 punches, and same thing with the returns. So again, I just think unlucky, some things didn't go his way in the tiebreaker. Jannik played some amazing points. And in the third set, what usually happens? Well, think back to matches at the recreation level, maybe 4-5 level, 4-0 level, even, the juniors, is you might be with somebody in the first set, you might even win that first set 6-4, and then you get blown out in the second set. And then most players, they have an ego, so they say, I just didn't play well, coach, that sort of thing. So, something fell apart. It's not really the case. I'll tell you what really happens. What really happens is either A, your opponent finds another gear, or B, your opponent was already in that other gear, and you were just surviving and scrambling. And then in the second set, even though you're not like physically tired, you're mentally tired, and you might be a little physically tired because of that, and not make an extra step or two, and you start making little dumb decisions. So even though you're not feeling exhausted, you are a little bit tired, so you're not getting as set up as you were in the first set, because when you're playing at a higher level, you're trying to keep up with it, and you might be able to, and you might have even snuck out that set. But then to stay at that high level, that's when things start flipping, right? So you were just above them, you took that set, and then all of a sudden that second set, things start happening. This guy keeps his level up, and then you do start dropping. But it's not because you necessarily played worse, it's that guy was putting tremendous pressure on you, and you started falling apart. So that's the hard thing about Paul. I was actually really surprised he got that second set to a tiebreaker, but when he lost both of those, you knew it's only a matter of time to not only keep up that level, but that motivation and that belief. And so that third set was a landslide. And by landslide, it was 6-1, but man, there were some great points in there too. So hopefully Tommy Paul next time can sort of edge that out, maybe play, have the luck on his side where he gets 1 or 2, big shots, big plus ones going his way, so he can close it out. Because I really think he can beat Jannik. It's just that he has to play a lot more risky brand of tennis, because he has to apply pressure because he's getting beat from the back of the court. So if you're a player that is trying to get to that next level. You know, the biggest thing, I love the net, but the biggest thing now is you have to be more and more solid from the back of the court, because usually that player is going to have to take a lot less risk, and you are going to have to take a lot more risk to get into that net when you're getting overpowered. You have to rush some things, right? And so I have a clip of this, like here was Tommy Paul in the third set, he just rushed it a bit. And I don't even want to say that was necessarily the wrong play. It's just, you know, as Jannik also won those first 2 sets, he got looser and looser, so now he was going for more when Tommy was coming to the net, which was also why it was a landslide in that third set. But you see Tommy Paul on this clip just rushed in. He hit that from almost behind the baseline and rushed into the net. And, you know, it's just that because of that pressure is why he did that, nothing else. I'm pretty sure if he was playing anyone else, he would have taken a little bit more time working that out. But because Jannik's so clean from the back, it makes you do silly things, right? Fun match. We'll see what happens later on in CS Open. Until next time, guys.